So in my never-ending pursuit of crazy and creative ways of stabilizing a camera, I thought, watching a balloon drifting by in the air, they're so smooth. They're like, the balloons are just so, the way they move, they don't jiggle or anything, they're just perfect smooth motion. So I thought, why don't I just attach a camera to a balloon? So I did. I went to Party City and I got myself some party balloons and wanted to see what happens if I attach a camera to it, which I did. So here I've attached an RX100 Mark VII to a bunch of balloons. It's a pocket camera with a 1-inch sensor. It takes a lot of helium to lift a camera in the air. But I'm playing around here because I'm just curious. I just love tinkering and playing around and figuring out, different ways of making stuff work. I love physics and science. So this is one of my experiments here. This thing, watch. So that's the thing. The first thing I found in attaching a camera like this to strings is it jiggles. See, the camera's jiggling? It's jiggling this way, it's jiggling this way because it's on strings. There's nothing hard holding it in place. So that's the first thing that has to be fixed here. This is how I secure it. I attach a base plate to it and then just snap it to a tripod. And that's temporarily holding it there. When somebody's vlogging, walking around with their camera on the end of their hand, the little handle there, they're walking and it's jiggling and they're, it's doing its jiggle thing. The camera stabilizers are going to try to do this smoothing, but it's not going to do everything. It's still going to jiggle. Or if you're holding it in something like this, you're walking around. Now, the difference between this and this one is here you've got your hand closer to the camera. So your hand is basically holding the camera. It's very sturdy, very stable. And whatever your hand does, whatever your body does, is going to instantly translate into the camera. So if you're going bam, bam, bam with your feet, it's going to go right into the camera. But this one here, because it's longer, there's more play. The balloons will have more of an effect on the end of this thing than the other one. So I'm going to attach this to here. I'm experimenting here as I'm filming this. I don't even know how it's going to do this, but so I'm going to turn up the flippy screen, turn it on. My assumption is that just like, remember that last video where I had the overhead hanging cable? It helped support the weight of the camera, made things smoother. Wow, I can already tell it's smoother. So now my hand is actually, it's still a camera on the end of a selfie stick, but I've got the balloons stabilizing it, so it's helping smooth the motion. I can't go zip, 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 zip really fast with this thing, because the balloons, I'm trying to, but the balloons are slowing down the motion. So I can't do really fast, jerky motions. I can only do smooth, slow motions. All right, so let's go for a walk here. Hello there, I'm walking around. I'm walking with my balloons. How are you? Just a little boy walking in the park with his balloons. Don't mind me. Hello, how are you? To see how stable my life is with balloons. So here I am walking around. Hello there. You like balloons? I like balloons. Yep, just walking around. Hey everybody, I'm testing my new stabilizing system. No, I'm not selling these. I'm just a guy that never grew up, and I like to play. I like to play with my balloons. 58 years old and I still like to play with balloons. And it looks pretty darn stable. I'm gonna walk up some stairs now. Not bad, not bad. And it looks pretty darn stable. I'm gonna walk up some stairs now. Not bad, not bad. Walking. So the balloons are doing basic stabilizing, and then the camera is doing the fine tuning with its stabilizing. I mean, it's still not perfect, but I think it's pretty cool. I mean, it's just a cool idea. Here I am, walking around. So, yeah, I think it's pretty cool, but this is still not enough for me. I mean, this is kind of silly, right? I mean, this is just party balloons from Party City. The problem with this is, oops. That's what happens if you don't attach them right. I got another one that floated up last night in the other window. All right, so now that I've lost half my balloons, you can see this amount of balloons looks like a lot. And look at this little camera down here. Look at that. It's not lifting that camera. So it takes a lot of helium to lift the camera, and that's a little compact camera. So any of you thinking of floating a full frame camera, you're gonna need a weather balloon. And they actually sell weather balloons that are like, 5 feet across, which isn't that big. But my first thing is, let's go to Party City and try that out. The more balloons you add, the more weight you can lift. But it's amazing how, when you're messing with lighter than air aeronautics, how the tiniest little thing affects if it goes up or down. Like, I added a piece of cardboard to this, and it dropped. I mean, a piece of cardboard made this drop. So the slightest little amount of weight makes all the difference when you're trying to be lighter than air. I mean, this is kind of, you know what? I wonder what happened if I attached, masking tape is so high tech. Whoop, it's just barely, okay. I think one more balloon and it'll, look at that. It's half an inch off the air. So that means look at that. I took this piece of masking tape off and it made a difference. Look at that. It's floating in the air. Look at that. See how it's wiggling though? It's wiggling. That's what I'm saying. This needs to be the camera needs to be solidly attached to a balloon. Or if there's multiple balloons, the balloons need to be attached together so they don't move, and then the camera needs to be firmly attached to that. You can't have smooth stuff. But if it's just hanging by itself, actually you can put the selfie screen up so you can see yourself. But look at that. It's floating in the air. That is so cool. Hello there. How are you? I'm fine. Testing the stabilizing system. Is it stable? I think it is. Hey. That is so cool. So look at the difference. This camera weighs 8 ounces and the RX100 weighs 10 ounces. That's only 2 ounces difference, and look at the difference that 2 ounces makes. I mean, this is not very super scientific, but now I'm going to try something even lighter. I'm going to use a DJI Osmo Pocket. This thing weighs even less. This is like 4 ounces. This is half the weight of that thing. Okay, so here's my DJI Osmo Pocket. Wow, this thing is so light. I've only got 2 white ones and one of those birthday balloons. And this thing is like, look at that. It's going in the air like fast. And the only problem is, again, it's wobbling. The thing to do is attach this thing solidly to a balloon somehow. So let's figure that out. Okay, so I attached 4 balloons together with string, so they're tight. So it's one balloon now. They don't move. And I attached cardboard underneath. So this device is now solidly attached to the balloons. It's not swaying, it's not moving. And hang on a second here. I think I put too many balloons for this camera. But look how smooth that is. I mean, it's swaying because it's not counterbalanced, but it's not jiggling anymore. So I'm going to turn it on. Hi there. Okay. I have one finger touching this thing, so I'm going to guide it around. I'm going to just see what happens if I just walk around with this thing. So here I am walking with the balloons, Good thing the DJI Osmo Pocket has a gimbal on it. It's still wobbling a bit because the balloons are not balanced properly. I am so stupid. I forgot my aeronautics training. This middle one is supposed to be on the bottom, not the top. Helium is the inverse of weights. In other words, normally when you want to balance things, it should be bottom heavy. But with helium, it's supposed to be more on top than the bottom. So it should be an inverted pyramid. Anyway, so this should be a lot more stable. If you ever look at hot air balloons, they're small at the bottom and they get bigger and bigger and bigger as they go up. So that's kind of what this is. I should have thought of that. So, okay, I don't know. It takes me a while sometimes, but. So this should be a lot more stable this way. Here we go for a walk with my Mickey Mouse balloon formation. All right, I'm gonna walk down some steps now with this new formation here. Could you tell I walked down some steps? This should be a little bit more stable than before. The other cool thing about having a smaller balloon section on the bottom is there's nothing in the way of the camera. Now this is totally not balanced properly. It's really, literally Mickey Mouse, but I'm walking up 2 steps right now. Could you tell I just walked up 2 steps? Pretty smooth. Yeah, this should be a lot smoother. But yeah, the Mickey Mouse formation seems to be a better one. Yay, Mickey. Okay, so now I've got 4. This is really rough and dirty. The more you have across on a flat plane, the smoother it is. So here's my DJI Osmo Pocket. 4 balloons. We're walking around now. Hi there. Just walking. How are you? I hope this is recording. Anyway, so yeah, it should be a little bit smoother now. Now it's still jiggling a little bit because nothing's balanced and I'm rushing this whole thing. But it should be kind of smooth, a little bit smooth, right? What a silly thing to do. And I know you guys are going to ask me, put a string on it and send it up into space. Okay, so I'm going to make it go out kind of high, but I'm going to turn this on. We're going to go outside in a minute. I mean, it's so obvious. I mean, but the main thing that I wanted to show is can you walk around with balloons and have it, and use it as a stabilizer for walking and stuff like that. I mean, obviously sending it straight up is going to be fine, but here we go. Let's see what happens. Whee! Okay, so I'm in a hurry, so I couldn't find any really thin string. So at some point, this string is going to get too heavy and not going to go beyond that. Should have used some really lightweight fishing line or something like that. But I'm just going to see what happens. Let's let it up. It's like flying a kite. It's a silent drone, but you can't really control the flight path. Yeah, it's bouncing around quite a bit. Now, I don't know if you noticed this or not, but when it was in the shade of the tree, it started coming down. That's because the air is cooler, and now when it's in the sun, the helium is heating up and making it go higher and higher, which is really cool. This is like a science experiment. Well, let's see what this looks like from the backyard. Freak the birds out. It's nowhere near as stable as a drone, but it's silent. Completely silent. I don't think this is perfect, but you never know until you try, right? I mean, somebody's got to make these crazy experiments just to see what it's like. Maybe some of you will get better ideas, take it to the next level. But my whole thing is to get your mind going. Make you start thinking about alternate ways of doing things. And that's what my channel is about, is to get your mind clicking. Hey, maybe I could take that a little further and go, yeah, I may do this and change that. So let this just be this spark. This is just a spark. You ignite it, you keep it going. Let me know what ideas you have. But this is my little crazy, I mean, having fun with photography. Photography should be fun, right? Okay, tell your friends about Marcus Picks. I'll see you in the next video. Bye. I'm just a boy with his balloons. That's all I am. Never entered adulthood. I just like to play around with stuff. I like to play with my balloons.